In this video, we're simply solving for x. So what that means is we want to isolate our x on one side of our equal sign and whatever it's equal to, in this case, it's a number term, on the other side of our equal sign. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So when I look at the right-hand side of my equal sign, I'm looking at my x variable. Remember, I want to isolate it. So what I'm going to do is I need to see what's going on, what operation is going on between this number term, number element, and the x variable. Okay, so I have 1 over 5 is multiplied by x. Okay, when we have just a number right in front of a variable, that's what's going on. They're multiplied together. Okay, but because they're different, one's a number, one's a variable, we can't perform that multiplication. So they just sit there. Okay, and we don't need to write the multiplication, it's implied. Okay. So if we have 1 over 5 multiplied by x, if we want to move this 1 over 5 or remove it from in front of the x, we need to perform the opposite action, okay, or opposite operation. So we had multiplied, so the opposite operation then is division. So if we divide this side by 1 over 5, these terms will cancel each other out, right? But here's the danger. Whatever we do to one side of our equal sign, we have to do it to the other side, okay? We can't just perform this division here on the right-hand side and assume that our equation is the same. It's not. We've changed it. It's a different equation now, different question. So if we're going to divide the right-hand side by 1 over 5, we need to divide our left-hand side also by 1 over 5. Okay, this looks a little complicated, but it's okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to simplify this left-hand side. When we have a number or a fraction divided by a fraction, what we need to do is we need to do 2 steps. First, we're going to take whatever on the top of the fraction, in this case is just the 9. We're going to rewrite it, so we'll 9. And instead of the division, we're going to write multiplication. Then we're going to take this fraction and we're going to invert it. What that means is we're going to take the denominator, which is 5, and that's going to become our new numerator. And we're going to take the numerator, which is 1, and that's going to become our new denominator. Okay, it's pretty cool. Now, one other thing to remember here before we move on is whenever we have a whole number, we can rewrite this whole number as a fraction by just placing it over 1. Okay, so we're going to do that right now. So 9 is the same as saying 9 over 1. Okay, now we're going to leave the left-hand side alone for a minute. We're not going to further simplify it. We're going to go ahead and simplify the right-hand side, and then we'll come back to the left-hand side. Okay, so remember the whole point of what we just did, this division by 1 over 5, was so that we could eliminate this term. Okay, and it does now, right? 1 over 5 divided by 1 over 5, they cancel. All right, and we're just simply left with x, which is our unknown, which is what we're trying to solve for. So that's good news. Okay, the right-hand side, that's simplified nicely. Now let's go back over here to our left-hand side, which did not simplify as nicely. Okay, but we have taken this division, which we can't work with, and we've turned it into a multiplication, which we can work with, right? So when we multiply 2 fractions together, we simply multiply the 2 numerators together to get our new numerator. So 9 times 5, that gives us 45. And then we simply multiply our 2 denominators together to give us our new denominator. 1 times 1 is simply 1, and that equals x. Now remember what I said before? We can take any whole number and put it over 1 to make it into a fraction. So if we have 45 over 1, that's really just 45, right? Whenever we have a number over 1, we can simply remove the fact that it's over 1, okay? Because it's just a whole number. Because what this is division, right? Every fraction is just division we haven't done. So we could say it the other way. Instead of saying 45 over 1 as a fraction, we could say 45 divided by 1. Well, 45 divided by 1 is simply 45, right? And that equals x. So this is our answer. 45 is equal to x. But we have one more thing we need to do. We need to check our math conventions. So math conventions, just the way we do things in math, the way we write things out, notation, that kind of thing. Okay. Now, math convention tells us that we want our unknown variable that we're solving for to end up on the left-hand side of our equal sign. And we want that to then be equal to our answer, which could be a number, element, a number term. In this case, it is a number term, 45. We want that to be on the right-hand side of our equal sign. Now, when we look at this answer we got, our number term is on the left-hand side, and our variable, our unknown x, is on the right-hand side, and we don't want that. We want them reversed. Now, this is correct. 45 is equal to x, but this is not the way we write it in math, okay? So we're going to fix that. Now, because we have fully simplified, okay, we just have this number is equal to our x, all we have to do is reverse them, flip them, okay? We don't need to perform any more operations. We don't need to do anything extra. We simply are just going to take our right-hand side, which is our x, rewrite that as our left-hand side, put our equal sign in again, take our left-hand side, 45, and rewrite it as our right-hand side. 45 equals x is the same thing as saying x is equal to 45, okay? We just write it in this format because that's the way we do things in math, okay? We like our unknown on the left-hand side of the equal sign. We like what it's equal to on the right-hand side of the equal sign, okay? So now we've solved our problem and we put our answer in the correct format, and that answer is x is equal to 45. If you would like to learn how to quickly study for your GED exam online and get a new resume, then visit testprepskills.com.